You guys, I'm still very much invested in the Idaho 4 case, and I've been thinking about the case a lot and reading the court documents and the text exchanges between Dylan and Bethany, who are the lone survivors from that tragic massacre, I want to call it. And so I feel as though there's a lot that we don't know, obviously. But I wanted to discuss the dog Murphy, right? So Kaylee, who was one of the victims, she had a dog named Murphy, and he was heard. You can hear the dog barking in one of the neighbors' footage that was obtained by law enforcement. And there's many questions surrounding the handling of a dog, right? Because think about it, a dog is like pretty much a kid. I have 2 dogs. You have to treat them. You have to handle them as their kids. At what point did the dog stop barking, right? And where was the dog? Where did they put the dog? They, he, she, whoever, whether it was one individual person or a group of people who committed this crime, where did they put the dog? Because at one point the dog stopped barking, but there's no way in hell a dog will stop barking with everything going on in the house. How was it? Why was no DNA found on the dog with the amount of, according to reports, the amount of blood in that house? We're talking about 4 murders. Literally, I remember when they showed this case on the news, and you can see the side of the home, literally the blood was seeping through. It's just tragic, and I cannot believe that that dog was there that night. Someone handled and took care of that dog and put him somewhere. The dog was barking 20 minutes straight. 30 minutes straight. That's a lot. I mean, I'm guessing she has the footage, so if this is, if true, 30 minutes is a long time for a dog to be barking and no one doing anything about it. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And what's interesting here is that they have a timestamp and it stops around 4:37, right? And what is interesting to me is that when you're reading the times, like you're trying to like build a timeline of what was going on in the home based on the text exchanges, right? And what's very interesting to me, I'm gonna turn my camera around and kind of show you here. 1 second. Oh no, I can use the green screen. Hold on. Here it is. Here's when the text exchanges begin at 4:19 a.m. The dog starts barking at 4:17 a.m. and the calls begin. Bethany, BF, calls DM Dylan for 23 seconds. Dylan calls Xana. Dylan calls Kaylee. Dylan calls Bethany for 41 seconds. Then at 4:21 a.m., Bethany calls Xana. DM calls Madison. Bethany calls Ethan. So they're trying to get in contact with everyone inside the house, just calling them. At 4:22, Dylan sends a message to Bethany. No one is answering. And then sends another one. I'm really confused right now. So I'm guessing they're hearing the dog barking and all the commotion, and they're like, no one's answering. I'm really confused. But these girls don't fucking leave the room. God. Then Bethany outgoing message to Snapchat at 4:23. We don't know to who. And then it continues. Bethany texts Dylan, "Yeah, dude, what the fuck?" Bethany to Dylan, "Xana was wearing all black." So at this point is where Bethany sees the man wearing all black at 4:23 a.m. Then Dylan sends a message to Bethany, "I'm freaking out right now." Dylan, "No, it's like a ski mask almost." Okay? Think about it. Think about it. You guys, you're freaking out. You're hearing a dog barking nonstop, barking for 20 minutes. You're hearing possibly people screaming. You know, Xana fought for her life. She has a lot of defense wounds. Tell me she wasn't screaming. And here are these two girls saying, "What the fuck is going on? Oh my God, what the fuck is going on? Are you fucking kidding me?" Then Bethany to Dylan, "Shut the fuck up." Bethany to Dylan, "Actually." So then at 4:23, Dylan says, like, he had something over his forehead and little and mouth. What? Okay, so hang on. There's more. 4:24, Dylan to Bethany, "Bethany, I'm not kidding. I am so freaked out." These girls were afraid. These girls were freaked out and panicking. I can imagine the noise in that fucking house, and they don't get out the fucking room. They don't call the fucking cops. Excuse my language. Bethany to DM at 4:24. Then that's a couple minutes after seeing the masked man, right? Bethany goes, "Run." And Bethany says, "Down here." Like, I don't know, did they come out of the room at one point, like, and saw what was going on? I don't know. Why not call the cops? You guys, they had their phone. They clearly had their phone available, accessible. They could have called the cops here. I just don't understand. They're getting on Snapchat 4:27. Dylan gets on Snapchat 4:27. Then there's calls to the roommates around that time at 4:27. There's calls from Dylan to Kaylee to Xana. Then Bethany calls Maddie and Kaylee. I don't see no calls to Xana here from Bethany, but then finally here is what I wanted to point out. So mind you, the dog is barking this whole entire time, okay? The dog is barking. Then finally at 4:32 a.m., these are the last few messages, right? Dana texts Kaylee, "Please answer." Bethany accessed Snapchat at 4:34 and at 4:37 a.m. That was it. After the last message was from Dylan to Kaylee, "Please answer." I don't know. Then what? What did they do with the dog? I mean, I can't imagine the dog still being in that house, right? Because they would have found DNA on the dog. The dog would have been bloody. And what's interesting here is that there's no communication on their phone until the following morning at 10 a.m. From 10 a.m. to 10:23 a.m., Dylan goes on social media and Snapchat. Did you forget? Like, did you think this was all a nightmare? Like, where was the dog? Did Bethany bring the dog to Dylan's room? Did Bethany bring the dog downstairs? Or did they leave with the dog at this time and then return the following morning? You know what I mean? These are all questions, and we're gonna know soon enough, because it sounds like the case is gonna happen sooner than we think. Yeah, these are the last few messages that morning at 10:23 a.m. Dylan sends a message to Maddie, are you up? So these girls thought that with all the ruckus and the screaming, these survivors actually thought these girls were alive. Are you kidding? If you thought nothing happened, why did you call for help though? Why did they call their mom and dad? Look, Dylan calls her dad. Dylan sends a message to her dad at 11:39 a.m. Bethany makes a phone call to JM. I don't know who JM is. I think that's one of the, I'm not gonna guess, but they did make some phone calls to their friends to come and witness, just to make them a fucking witness to this tragic massacre. They finally called the cops at noon, close to noon. But before that, they asked for these other people to come witness with them. Horrible, it's horrible. I cannot understand. I want to show you guys this selfie too of this fucking monster. If he committed the murders, allegedly. This was taken hours after the murders at 10:31 a.m. And what's interesting to me here is that the phone activity on Dylan's and Bethany's phone began around this time, 10:31 a.m. I wonder if he had a Snapchat. I wonder if he sent this photo like, yeah, job done. I did it. It's disgusting. Completely disgusting. If he committed these murders, wow. Who the fuck you think you are, American Psycho? Who do you think you are? And we know, there's new reports out now. We know that Xana, well, could have been Xana, right? It could have been someone else, ordered food, right? And we now know that the DoorDash is claiming that she saw Bryan Kohberger when she dropped off the food, and that she saw the white Elantra. Still though, that's not tying him directly to the murders. She is an eyewitness now. Well, she has been, but because of the gag order, none of these reports were out. So I wanted to bring that. That's a new update that you may see.